unfiltered up they stream. Straight from the heart of the Pimcore team. Breaking the mold, we're bringing it new. Knowledge and power directly to you.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Pimcore Insight. My name is Christian, VP Product at Pimcore, and with me in the session is...
I'm Patrick, I'm Product Manager at Pimcore. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Patrick. Patrick, recently we promised that we will do some additional episodes about the Data Hub. So maybe let's do this today, right?
Yeah, this time I'd like to talk about the data object importer, because there we did some changes, some important changes, and that's what I wanted to show you today.
Yeah, then let's have a look how we modified and improved the data importer configuration.
Sure. So here we have the data importer. The general tab looks the same as it was within classic UI. Now on the data setup, we streamlined the process of the different steps. So now, for example, the processing settings is the last step after the mapping. So it's more logical, I would say. But let's start with the first step. So the data source. In here, you can choose where the data should come from, if it should be from an asset within Pimcore. If you want to upload a file, HTTP, SFTP, so there are different options where the file can come from. And you can also choose various file formats, for example, CSV, JSON, XML, Excel, and so on and so forth.
So the actual functionality didn't change, but just the configuration got streamlined and a bit more logical. And of course, always the first step in the configuration is to defining where my data comes from.
Exactly.
And this is done here in the first step. The second step is then, let's have a look at our data. How does the data look like that we want to import, right?
Exactly. And there you can choose if you want to copy the data from the source, so what you configured in the first step, or you can also upload a file. There it is important that the file is not too big, that it can be processed.
Yeah. So
and
that you have a preview of
yeah,
data that you're going to import, right?
Exactly. And there you can also search for specific attributes if you want to, or you can also switch to other records within the
navigate
data.
through the records.
Yeah.
Cool. So now we have defined the source and we know how our data looks like. What is the next step then?
Now the resolver settings must be set. So first of all, you need to define which data object class the data should be imported to. Then you can define a loading strategy. So for example, that the ID will be used for loading the data objects. Also the location strategy, so where the new data objects should be imported to. For example, in this case, it's a static path, and there we will have all the newly imported data objects. And last but not least, how updates should work. If you want data objects to be updated, or if you also always want to create new ones.
So the resolver is more or less on data object level, meaning defining to which data objects the data should be imported there. And for that, you first need to define the class and then all the different loading settings and strategies. Again, functionality-wise, nothing changed. It's really just, again, the configuration that we have streamlined here. So now we have the data object, and the next step would be then the data attributes of this data object, right?
Exactly, and that can be set within the mapping. So on the left side, we do have the sources, all the source attributes. For example, here the article number, manufacturer, and they can be mapped to the target fields. The target fields, they are defined by the class that we have chosen in the resolver. Here, for example, if you have a look at the manufacturer, there you see we use the manufacturer for two target fields. So for the manufacturer field and for the key field. That's indicated by this number there. You also see if some fields are not mapped, like those images. And if you have a closer look, let's take an example of an image. So in here, you see now the source and the target. And if you click on advanced, you first see a preview of the data. It's marked in here. So this is this URL. You can also search in here for sure. And then there are the transformation. They have also been available in the classic UI. They can be found here now. And there you have different options for transformations. So for example, you can manipulate the data, trim, combine, or whatever you need to. You can set a specific data type that is required that you can set the right target afterwards. Or you can import an asset or also import data from an existing data object or from an asset. That can be done here so that you can add multiple transformation steps and you always see the preview of the data. And then as a last step, you can define the target in here. So then the mapping of this data field is done.
So that was a lot now. Maybe let's just summarize it or quickly go through it.
Yeah.
Let's skip the mapping and transformation for a second. Maybe go back to the previous view. Yeah, exactly here. So here we see on the left side all the available data attributes from our data source we want to import. And on the right side, we define the mapping, right? So we can define additional mappings. Also, maybe it's just add a new mapping there. Click on new on the top. And each mapping has some data source, needs to have one or additional files of data sources. Let's just add one. And then we can define this mapping. And the easiest one would be we have just a source and assign it to a data field directly in our data object, right? So this would be the simplest step. And this is now already a valid mapping and we can import the data. And then there might be cases where we need some advanced configurations, advanced features, like this whole transformation pipelines and all these kind of things. And these can be done then in this model where we can configure all the different things and transformations, casts to different types and all these kind of things. And also define data targets, which might be a bit more complex. So not just direct class fields, but maybe classification store fields or localized fields or whatsoever, which is more complex to assign to. And so you can configure the mapping for your data import.
Exactly.
Cool. And then once we have defined the mapping, so now we have defined data source, we have defined where to which data object classes and where the data object should be located, and we have defined which fields we want to map into this data object. And then we are pretty much done, right?
Last step, you can define your processing settings, where you can define if you want to execute sequential or parallel import, where you can define if there should be log files and stuff like that. So that's done in the process settings. And then you can start and export in the execution tab. And import in the execution tab. And there you can start it manually, or you can also define a reoccurring cron job, for example, and start it at specific times.
Exactly. And then you also see the import logs here in additional tab.
Exactly.
And that's it about. Yeah, cool. So a quick overview to the changes and the new configuration process of the data importer. For today, we are pretty much on the end. We will have some additional sessions of Pimcore Insight for other data hub adapters. But for now, it's only left to say thank you for watching and see you. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye-bye.